Hi, and welcome to our session called Potty Talk. We're happy to be a part of the Vintage Camper Trailers Online Boot Camp 2024. I'm Martha Kaufeldt.
And I'm Rick Burros.
And we've been doing vintage trailering for a number of years. We're happy to share with you some ideas today. There we go. Here's our agenda that we're going to hopefully cover with you in our short time together here today. The first section is going to be no potty, no problem. So if in the vintage trailer that you're working on, there wasn't any kind of a toilet or potty built in, we're going to share with you some ideas about luggable loos and porta potties. The second part will be for those of you that might be working on a trailer that's referred to as a park model. It means there is some kind of a bathroom or potty installed in the trailer, but it doesn't have any holding tanks. And the third part today is going to be about those of you that have a trailer that has a potty and some kind of holding tanks, black holding tanks.
Self-contained.
Self-contained. All right, here we go.
So my passion is anything mechanical. Martha's passion is she's always made ice cream. Bottom line is during COVID, we made this neat little ice cream maker. It's got a 1936 Stover hit-and-miss engine and then a 5-gallon ice cream maker there. So we're kind of known as the ice cream people. She's the ice cream lady, and I'm just the ice cream lady's husband.
And I love you. So if you come to any of the West Coast vintage trailer rallies, come and see us. We'll be serving up 5 gallons of homemade ice cream with our vintage creamery, our vintage ice cream wagon.
I'm a lifetime auto mechanic. My dad was a mechanic. I followed him around like a little dog when I was a kid and went to all the mills and places he's worked. But I own an auto repair shop in Santa Cruz, California, R&D Motorsports. Been there since 1988, and just have a great crew. I still love working on cars. Lower picture here is a picture of me doing an instructional thing for a boot camp about trailer brakes and bearings and axles.
So you have good qualifications for leading a talk here at boot camp, and you have some experience. But I bet you want to know what my qualifications are for being able to do this.
Yeah, what are your qualifications for knowing about plumbing and toilets and things?
My dad was a plumber.
Oh, okay.
And he was a plumber and AC specialist. Plumbers know their crap. And Bob Miller, my dad, told me that really there were only 2 things you needed to know to be a plumber. And that was that crap flows downhill and payday is Friday.
2 good things.
2 good things. But I have other qualifications for why I'm interested in this topic. I taught school for years, and one of my favorite curriculums that I wrote was the history of everyday things, and we did a unit on the history of toilets. The picture that you see here is one of the most interesting factors, is that is Sir Thomas Crapper. He was the inventor of the symphonic flush system. So in teaching this to kids, I taught all about those early kinds of valves and water closets that they had. We even looked at ancient toileting techniques. Here they are, the ancient Roman latrines.
Very archaic.
Yeah. And fortunately, we don't have those at the trailer rallies.
Yeah, what are those little things, spoons they got in their hands?
It's not a spoon. It's a little loofah sponge on a stick for wiping.
Icky.
Yeah. Anyway, we've evolved, but that's my credentials.
This is our very first trailer. It's a Aristocrat mainliner. We saw an ad in the paper for Felton Vintage Trailer Rally, and we live in Scotts Valley. And so we went over there, and that was our very first walk-in trailer rally. I came out of there going to buy a trailer now. Martha thought I was nuts, and usually she's right, but 7 days later, we pulled this home and started working on it, dolling it up. I did mechanical stuff, and Martha did all her dolling up of the interior, and did a beautiful job on it. And we certainly loved it. And that got our feet wet.
That's our after picture. It didn't look like that when we got it home.
No.
No.
A few more trailers we have picked up along the way and then gotten rid of. We still have the Yellowstone in the right top corner. Really love that 1958 Yellowstone. We have the Ken Craft up above here. The lower one here we had sold, and we have a replacement Bull's Arrow for it, but Wayne and Kathy Ferguson now own the Bull's Arrow in the lower picture.
It's fun to see it at the different rallies.
Yep.
So this section is called then No Potty, No Problem. So as we said, when we first got the Aristocrat, it did not have a potty in it. And that was something that we didn't even really, we'd always been camping with kids and stuff, years ago, but we, in our ancient years here, we didn't realize maybe how much we really did want a potty. But
the Aristocrat actually had a toilet, honey.
Right. I'm going to show a picture of it in just a moment here. So what I wanted to say was that as I started talking with some of our other friends who are trailerites about how do they handle pottying if they don't have a potty in their trailer, and over, especially the guys, indicated that finding some place to go pee was just not a problem. Those of us that need a toilet, we need to always make sure that we're parked near the public restrooms at the park or at the campground. This is a picture of my mom and I back in 1958 when we went camping. My dad rigged up a trailer, a little camper with his flatbed utility truck, and we went camping up at Big Basin. And you can see here, my mom is emptying what we always just called the piss pot. And so overnight, any of us kids, if we had to go, we went in the pot. And then, of course, there was the walk of shame to the bathroom to go and empty it the next morning.
What is that thing you have on your face, honey?
Well, that was a birthday present that I'd gotten. It is a snorkeling or a scuba diving mask. And I'd asked for it because my very favorite TV show at that time was Sea Hunt, starring Lloyd Bridges as Mike Nelson. And I love that show. So my folks got me a scuba mask, but we went to Big Basin and there wasn't any water to be had. So I just wore the mask all week.
Sad.
Sad. Yeah. So in the mainliner, here's what we had. And this is pretty typical of most early Aristocrat trailers. Beautiful machine there.
Underneath that little lid with the knob, there was just an aluminum little pot. That's what it had.
But it slid nicely underneath the sofa seat.
Great machine.
So that's a before and after picture. We painted it up and got it ready. But honestly, I never even tried to use it because I knew if I got down onto that, I would never get back up again. So it was mostly just for looks. So we call that method bucket and chuck it. Luggable loos are pretty easy to find at camping supplies, Camping World, even Home Depot, other hardware stores. And this is just a 5-gallon bucket, but it does have a seat on it, and that lid actually snaps down so it does trap in any odors or anything. But what we highly recommend is that if you use some kind of luggable loo, that you put in a garbage bag and put in some kitty litter. And that way, then that's going to soak up some of the fluid and help with smell and that kind of thing. You can buy really fancy ones. They're called double duty toilet waste bags or WAG bags. But a garbage sack with
kitty litter works just fine.
And when did we have to use that most recently?
Well, we had to evacuate for the CZU fire, and then we took both our trailers to our brother's place and put them on his property. And the Yellowstone did not have a holding tank, so we put a plastic bag and kitty litter in there, and that worked just fine.
Just in the toilet bowl, even.
Just in the bowl.
We draped it over.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't even have a luggable loo. We just did it in the toilet bowl. It worked. So here is a very quick video of how you could do it yourself if you wanted to.
Hi I'm Sarah with athriftymom.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a low-cost portable camping toilet for about $4. You can get a 5-gallon bucket for about $2 to $3. You get a pool noodle at the dollar store or any other local store during the summertime. What you're going to do is you're just going to cut that pool noodle, cut a seam in the bottom side and snap it on top. If you want to make it nice and firm, go ahead and use some epoxy. To make sure you get the joints together, you can cut it at a 45-degree angle. If you want to have a toilet paper holder, unhook one side of the handle, thread some toilet paper on there, and then just snap it into its hole. You can then go as far as cutting the bottom out of this and then putting it over the top of a dug latrine, and you can just keep covering the hole with some dirt to cover it up. Or you can make it totally portable by using a garbage bag and then taking out your waste as you camp. I hope you enjoyed this camping tip. We have lots of other ideas on our site at athriftymom.com.
There you go. We could do it.
Yep.
So these portable toilets, bucket toilets, or luggable loos usually can be emptied in two ways. There may be an inner bucket that can be pulled out, like my mom's piss pot used to be, or it may have a liner that you put in and empty it that way. Well, we've seen this online and seen videos. We'd never do this.
Yeah, I mean, never say never, but certainly more out in the open kind of a rig.
Out in the open is, yeah that's an understatement. I highly recommend that if you don't have a small closet or enough room inside your little trailer, you may want to invest in a little cabana where the porta potty can go. And there's lots of different things that you can do. Even on Amazon, there's a whole kit and caboodle that you can get that has the porta potty, the cabana, and wag bags and things to put inside of it.
And it even doubles as an outside shower, too. If somebody needs a place, they can put their little thermal water bag on the top and then run the hose through, and then they have a little shower thing.
Or a changing room. Yep. Some people are considering compostable toilets. If you are planning on spending a long time in your vintage trailer, not just little weekend trips, you may want to consider this. It does mean the size has to be adjusted. There are some that are pretty large. And emptying it, you have to empty the fluid, the liquids, pretty regularly, every 2 or 3 days. Whereas the solid waste can be, you can wait quite a while before you empty that. But many of them do need a water hookup or need some electricity hookup. So do consider that. They can be a little bit pricey, but it is something that you may want to consider. So when you're dry camping, what we call boondocking, if you don't have a toilet, then you may want to be considering, are you going to be boondocking very much? Is it just once in a while? Mostly, are you going to be able to park close to any public restrooms and toilets? And do you just need something for nighttime emergencies? So maybe the little luggable loo is just fine and just enough. So if you do really have a small camper, yes, put a little porta potty in maybe one of the cupboards, but you may not want to go through all the trouble and expense of trying to add some kind of a holding tank and having a working toilet. So park models and portable holding tanks are, as Rick mentioned, our Yellowstone is a park model. It has a shower, it has a toilet, a little bathroom sink, and but it was designed to only be parked permanently in a trailer park, or maybe we've heard about, especially in the Midwest, going up to lakes, and maybe you have a place, some property on a little lake, and you can park the trailer there and leave it and have a little septic tank or a little holding tank down into the ground.
But we had really have only had to bring the portable tank like a couple of times. One time up in Lake Tahoe where they didn't have sewer hookups, and we were there for, I think, 4 days. And so, otherwise, you just hook it right up to the sewer dump in the little trailer parks where you're at. Now, this particular picture is the bathroom of the Yellowstone, and it has, in that picture, it's got the original porcelain toilet, which has now been replaced by a a little high-rise Thetford. And then, you know, the original toilet, although cool, it was kind of weighty, you know, just as porcelain toilets are. The other thing we would do if you're going to keep the original one is we would take the lids off and wrap them in towels and then put them in a drawer because, you know, as you're driving down the road and it's bouncing around, you wouldn't want to have the lid fly off and get broken.
So there's several different types of portable holding tanks. They have different features, wheels on them, handles on them, trailer hitch hooks on them, places to add water. Some are, you have to remember as you're getting it, the weight of these things once they're filled. So if you just need something for just a weekend.
Yeah, you need to be able to try to be close enough to the dump station because it's going to take 2 men and a small boy to lift that thing up in the back of your truck.
But one of our dear friends, Ryan Guterslaw, he at one of the trailer rallies, I asked him to tell us a little bit more about how he uses his portable tank, and I appreciate that he took a little time to tell us about this.
Hi, I'm Ryan. This is my 1966 Silver Streak Sabre. It's 17 feet long, and I want to take a moment to tell you how we store gray water when we do not have hookups. So we use this tank, and this is an external tank that hooks up to our trailer. We can roll it over to a dump station. I use this only for gray water. Some people use it for black water and gray water. It has a hookup here, and you can put a hose on it, and it's got a hookup on the other side that you can dump from also. You can also put a regular sewer hose going to this. I oftentimes just use a regular hose, like a garden style hose, because I'm only putting gray water in here. This is super helpful. This one is 28 gallons, and you can get these on Amazon, RV stores, all kinds of stuff. I was lucky I got this one in front of a house in a pile of free stuff. So these are super helpful when you don't have a hookup. Virtually all campgrounds prohibit you from just dumping gray water on the ground. And there is a bracket, I think, like I said, that hooks onto the ball of your tow vehicle so that you can take it over to the dump station.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks. So what he was talking about was that all of these portable tanks, or most of them, have something that can hook up to your trailer hitch. And
Here's actual footage.
Here's actual footage. I feel like a stalker. I saw one of our trailer camping buddies going and bringing his over. So here you go. You can see. It's like. At least it's not America's Funniest Home Videos. There weren't any problems that happened there. But I followed Bart over to the dump station, and he answered a few questions for me.
Now, the question is do you put black and gray in that tank?
Yes.
Okay. And is your trailer a park model?
Yes.
So it doesn't have any holding tanks, so
No.
you bring this along.
Yes.
And I saw that you were able to hook it up to your trailer hitch to bring it over to the dump station.
Just put this little right there.
Great. How many gallons is this one? Do you know? Okay. And that was enough for 3 days?
2 days.
Yeah.
I've already gone once. 4 nights.
Okay. So, but you can just, if your trailer's parked, you can just hook it onto the back of the truck and bring it over here.
Yep.
Great. Did you say your name?
Bart.
Great. Thanks, Bart.
Not a problem.
Do you have to put any
I do
any
the same-
disinfectant or anything
I do
like
the
that?
same thing that you do for a regular holding tank.
Some of the pellets, some of the pouches, or yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And then it's got a rinse here, so I'll hook it up to water and then rinse it all out again.
Oh,
before I
great.
take
All
it.
right. That is one that
A
has
little cleaner than that.
All right. Thanks so much.
Not a problem.
Soothing sound, you know.
Excellent. Thanks, Bart, for that. So Rick can talk a little bit about this. Many people who have older vintage trailers that are park models or did not come with it have gone to great lengths to order customized holding tanks and been able to put them in. There are a couple of do-it-yourself strategies that might not be that involved.
Yeah, the upper picture, I don't know who this person is, but, it looks like they've just modified a portable holding tank. Looks like they flipped it upside down, and they made a little carriage with, it looks like a little hasp, a release there. So I'm not sure how it's plumbed in, but the lower picture just shows a bunch of black ABS pipe. Now, our friends John and Phyllis Green have a Westcraft, and those trailers sit pretty low to the ground, and they did not come with holding tanks. So what John did was kind of clever, is he just basically made an endless river of black ABS pipe with 180 couplings at each end, with a fitting, for the sewer hose to hook up to, and a valve. And I don't know exactly how many days or use and gallons it held, but it certainly made it so that they could. He had put a little water closet together, and has a toilet inside, and so that's how he does it on his trailer. And I looked at it; it was pretty cool, because he just put it within the frame rails of the trailer and did a very great job of plumbing it all together. So there's always other ways to do other things, for sure.
We had met someone else at one of the vintage trailer rallies who had done that, and for just the 2 nights that we were there, it was able to collect enough of the waste and still without a full holding tank. So that was good for those nighttime bathroom runs, for sure. It can hold a little bit.
One thing for sure here is that once you get a trailer with a toilet, there's no going back. I mean, it's just, in the beginning we thought, we just walk down to the bathrooms and do it, and we still use the bathrooms, but it is pretty cool to have a toilet and holding tanks in your trailer.
At our age, we're giving you our opinion, and there were the days, many decades, where we were with kids and family and camped without any kind of a potty overnight, but now that's what we look for when we get a trailer. So this next section is called then self-contained trailers and holding tanks and emptying them. And this is Rick at one of the trailer rallies. And what do you always say when you wear this outfit?
Shitter's full.
So here we go. We'll share a little bit with you about the classic tanks at RV.
Yeah, so, a lot of trailers have 3 tanks. Fresh water, for your potable water. And then black tanks, and then our gray tanks. Gray tank accumulates, the water from the sinks and showers. Black tank is obviously it's your human waste that's going down that. Always try to wear these gloves when you're working with your, dumping your systems. If you have any cuts on your hands, scrapes, stuff like that, you don't want that yuck going into your bloodstream. You will see on the next picture that I did not have these gloves. We had used them all up on ice cream, but anyway, so I expect some slack from that. Your black holding tanks should be dumped first. You'll hook up your hose, get it all secured to the dump station. You open your black tank up and let it flow till it stops flowing. Then we close the valve for the black tank and open the gray, and the gray water will do its good job of flushing out the stuff that came out of the black tank. Okay. And just a couple pictures here. You can store your hoses in a poly tub or what have you. A lot of people put them into the bumpers of the trailer, which is most of the trailers have the little rectangular bumper, and that's where it originally went. And then this person has made a nice little PVC type of holding system for their hose. And then, of course, shit runs downhill. If you're in an area where maybe the trailer's lower than the waste hookup, obviously you want to elevate it a little bit so that it runs downhill. The other picture with the arrow, these are kind of cool because you can actually watch and see, how are you flowing? We don't want it backing up. because it'll become an ugly mess if you don't see it flowing when you're using not only your toilet but your gray tank.
Okay.
Marine tissue. This stuff here is not very thick. As you can see, it says snowy white 1-ply. Negatives are you might have to double up on that, because you don't want to have a blow through. But we always suggest using this because it is very biodegradable, breaks down easily, and then won't clog as much.
So definitely, without disparaging any brand names, Charmin, any of these that are super fluffy or have pillows in the print, they just don't break down. So
it will break down, but it's not going to do it fast, and you don't want that stuff souping up in your tanks.
So this is quite a bit more expensive, although we buy ours online and get it for a little bit less online. One of the things that you want to keep in mind is that if you do have any kind of a holding tank, you really need to make sure that you are buying either some of the liquid that pours in or these little pouches that are holding tank treatments. And they do a couple of things. One is that there's enzymes in them, so it really helps digest the solid waste and helps liquefy everything that's in there. It also helps with any kind of odors, so they often have some kind of either scent or baking soda and other kinds of chemicals that can help reduce the smell. And so making sure that you have some of those along the way.
And then the last little thing you see there, it says clean sensor probes. So a lot of tanks have a series of sensors that are screwed into the side of the tank, usually 3, and those sensors can become, fouled up with, debris, and then you'll get false readings on your gauge, your tank gauges, on your. Usually we have freshwater, gray, black on a lot of these systems, and freshwater rarely has a trouble. Gray rarely has a trouble. It's black the one that will read full when you're empty, or vice versa.
So don't trust them.
Yeah, don't trust them.
There you go.
Level sensors may not be accurate. You can always do the Model T approach on their fuel gauges. They gave them a ruler to check their fuel level. If you're not sure, you can get a yardstick, hold the valve open in your toilet. How thick is it down there? If you're not sure, use what God gave you. Look down the tank, especially if you're not seeing a change. And maybe a lot of these systems, like a couple of our trailers, did not have level sensors. So you really do have to look down inside, and you might have to find out on your own how much you can put in it, how many days worth of use, because you might spill over. So anyway, you're going to dump your black, dump your gray. While gray is dumping, you can actually add a little bit more water. Now, that she has it written down into the toilet, and that's just basically for black stuff. The gray, you can just dump water down the sink, or turn the sink on and run water if you have a pump inside your trailer. Yeah. Right. And just pictures of how to hook up, or from the trailer to the fittings at either the RV park or the dump station.
Right. The two things that I think about is that they do come in different lengths, and sometimes just the way you're parked in at a trailer RV resort, you might have quite a length that you have to go to. So these are all stretchable, but make sure that you have a long enough one. And again, there's one that has the see-through valve. Yep. All right.
Then we keep our valves closed.
Even when we're hooked up.
Even when we're hooked up. And the purpose of that is we really want to try to get at least the black tank to have as much liquid in it as possible, so that when we do go to dump, we have a lot of flow. If you leave your black tank valve open, the liquid is going to run out, but you'll either TP or pyramid up, soup up the black tank, and then when you go to open that valve, if there isn't enough liquid, it's not going to pull the waste and toilet paper and the rest of the yuck down with it. So we keep our valves closed. And then, of course, now if we're still hooked up and going to be staying there for a few days, we will pull the black valve and then empty it, and we'll close it again and then use it as normal. But keep your liquid in the black tank until you're getting ready to dump.
Right. All right. So this is going to be a couple of videos I took of Rick when we were at one of our last trailer rallies. And so let's see some of the...
You won't see gloves on me because I didn't put them on until after I started. But anyway, and there will be a little bit of grunting involved.
Let's see here.
Hook this hose up here first. Make sure it's locked.
You have an adapter on the front of that?
Yeah, I don't know that we need it, but I'll put it on here.
Your gloves?
Quite like that layout.
This was actually the first time I used this hose off this new boat trailer that we got.
As we do it.
All right. Let's look at the next one.
Looks like the same.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
We're dumping the black now. You can feel the hose.
Yeah, I'll call it now.
If it had the clear thing there, you'd
Black
see what's
closed. And now gray open.
The same you reach over and hold that, but you can have either guy that has it flat down and make a nice little This is good fun stuff. You're going to have some form of work, whether you have a portable toilet,
Okay, anything else?
portable holding tank,
You need to know?
you're doing it this way.
Rinse the hose when you're done.
All right. And here we go with rinsing the hose. Whoop. Rinse the hose.
Those are valves. Gray valve. Disconnect and flush hose.
Take hose off. Come on.
Make sure you cap your sewer hook up there. You will get a ticket if you're driving down the road and the CHP sees that cap flapping in the breeze. Even though the valves are closed.
Most of the dump stations have a hose there that's dedicated for this. You certainly don't want to use any of your own hoses.
Get white to turn on hose more.
Anything for drinking water, so this has to be a dedicated hose for your sewer cleaning.
You know, if you have to use your own hose, fine, just don't touch it like I'm doing there.
Turn off.
You can flush longer if you need be.
Stand hose.
Usually the gray will get all the black stuff out when you flush the gray.
Put away hose and hit the highway.
All right. So we asked our friend Mike Morris if he would tell us a little trick that he had, and here's what he had to say.
My name is Mike Morris. My wife is Sherry, and we've been doing this vintage trailer camping for a long time. And there are some things we've learned about black tanks and gray tanks. Our Airstreams don't have a gray tank, so the gray water just flows right into the hose. This is a good thing, I'll tell you why. Because when we're camping, we keep our black tank closed. That means it's going to fill up with fluid and water and all the waste. And we flush liberally, so we make sure that tank gets lots of liquid so that the antiseptic and the blue stuff and green stuff can do its job and break down the tissue. Now, just before we leave, we pull that black tank. Now, we do have one of those transparent goodies so you can see what's coming out of your black tank. Not a pretty picture. But then we both take showers. And on our Airstreams, the gray water, again, not having a tank, flows all the way through that sewer hose. By the time you take 2 showers with shampoo and soap and things like that, you can see that hose is running really, really quite clear. Then, of course, after I disconnect from the trailer, the black hose, being very careful to lift it up so it don't get shower water on me, when I disconnect the water hose, not touching the tip of the hose into the hose, you flush it out with clear water, let it drain, and everything works out fine. Little tip that I learned along the way, and you can do whatever you want with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. All right. Let's see. I'm going to put our camera back here if I can, so you can see us. Sometimes there is a backup or clog in the black tank. And we had this happen quite a bit at the beginning when we were doing this, because we were not using very much water, thinking that we didn't want the tank to get filled up too fast. But by not putting enough water in, it was getting really sludgy. In fact, it started doing what's called pyramiding, just like you might see in a porta-john at a fair or something. If you went in it, is that the starts building up and the paper on top of it. So we found that there were a couple of ways that if you do tend to get sludgy, or and by the way, when you buy a vintage trailer, you never know what kind of shape it's been in and how long, and whether anybody had ever emptied that tank or whether it's been sitting like that for years. So one thing that we found that has helped us is that you can put a bag of ice down the toilet, add water into that black tank, and then drive around and shake it up. And that ice can often loosen up a lot of the dried pieces or sludge and liquefy things. Another one that we've heard is that we haven't used this particularly, but dishwasher soap, not just Dawn liquid, but dishwasher soap, and put that with some water in, maybe about a cup, fill it up with water and drive down the highway. And sometimes also using just some hot water with a little bit of Dawn soap in the tank can help loosen it up and get some of that sludge going.
As well as if you have fouled sensors, this is another way. Probably the 2-3 gallons of hot water in the dish soap is going to be better for trying to get those sensors clean. Now, of course, if the sensor is all the way at the top, indicating full, you might have to put quite a bit of water in there for it to slosh around and get in there. But, I'm not saying it's going to work, but it certainly can help.
Right. Now, there is an RV special hose adapter that you can get, that you can open up the valve in the toilet and it goes down in, and then it has a really high pressure so that you can turn it around. And so there are adapters that you can get to clean out the tank also. Let's see if I can get back on here. There we go.
This particular picture is our Kencraft toilet, and which was the original porcelain kind of a almost pink toilet. And the valve was, I use the term pissed off for anything that's not working, rod bearings on engines or what have you, roofs that leak. The valve was pissed off on this toilet, and so hence it was not hooked up. It was leaking. The previous owner had actually plumbed in a little hand sprayer there, and that was sitting to the left of the toilet on the sink. So what we would do is, and we used it this way for quite some time, where we would just open the lid, get the hand sprayer out, we'd pre-wet the toilet, we'd do our business, and then hold the valve open and use the hand sprayer, and that worked quite well. Back to keeping a lot of liquid in the black tank. We also do regularly, not shy about using the fresh water. So go ahead and use a lot of water, because you want that stuff to get in there, and that'll help keep it from souping up, pyramiding up, and especially, if you didn't dump and you're driving down the road and you suspected issues, it's certainly going to slosh all that beautiful stuff around, so that when you do dump, it's quite liquefied.
Right, right. And just on another note, on occasion, if I knew that we weren't going to be able to dump, like when we had evacuated for the fire, I also might just use toilet paper and wrap it and put it in a trash can, and not even add toilet paper into the tank itself. Kind of old school, like on Asian toilets and such, how you might put paper someplace else. So the one that you put in the Ken Craft.
Yeah, these are the ones we like. They're high profile. They really work nicely. Very highly rated, and so we have. So knock it off, you guys. So anyway, we have 2 of these. We love them. They work well, and not very expensive, and so that's just what we like.
But I'll point out that high profile is important. It's just a few inches, but in the middle of the night, the higher rise is so much helpful for me than the lower one. So I go ahead and get the high rise one.
This is our friend. This is our friend and comedian Will Ward. He's a trailer restorer, and his family. That's what they do: restore vintage campers and trailers. Kelly, Will, and Will Ward. So he's got a few things to say here.
I asked him about putting in a new toilet in a vintage trailer. Come on, buddy.
Go buy a 310 porcelain Dometic toilet and install it.
In a vintage trailer, do the porcelain?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Most vintage trailers don't have black tanks or gray tanks, so you'll have to put one of those in if you plan on dry camping. But if it's a park model, if you choose to have a park model, you can just have it go, straight out to the full hookup connection. And enjoy your bathroom in your vintage trailer.
Good old Will. So this is the one he recommends, the Dometic 310. Full size, gravity flush, ceramic bowl, foot pedal, slow close seat, and it has that pressure enhanced power flush invented by Sir Thomas Crapper. Yep. One of the things, just a helpful hint, is as you're going down the road, and if you've been camping for a while, the water often leaks out of the toilet bowl. It may not, you may not have a lot of water in the bowl when you go to use it. So we recommend that you, usually these toilets are set up so that if you just press the foot valve down halfway, you can get some water flowing into the bowl and fill it up a bit before you go in and do your business. So that's what we recommend. All right, we're just wrapping up. We asked a few of our friends if they had any words of advice, and here's what Terry and Todd Dingman suggested.
Don't use poison oak toilet paper. And what's yours?
Hold it till you get home.
There you go. Anyway, we so appreciate that you took time out of your day to check our session out. We hope that we covered a few ideas for you about porta potties, park models, holding tanks, and toilets. So this was Potty Talk with Martha and Rick, the Burfeldts. And if you need to ever get a hold of us, please do. We're in Scotts Valley, California. That's near Monterey Bay. And we so have enjoyed over these last 12 plus years going to the vintage trailer rallies all along the West Coast here, and happy to be a part of the online boot camp. You can reach R&D Motorsports in Santa Cruz or either of us at the Gmail emails there. Thanks so much. Hope this was helpful.
Bye. Thanks for listening.